Victoria had always been the center of attention. The wealth she inherited from her family surrounded her in a bubble of luxury that, to her, seemed like the only path to happiness. She made it a point to flaunt designer clothes, the most expensive cars, and lavish events. In her mind, this was what defined her worth. But, curiously, the more she flaunted, the farther she drifted from the simple things that often warmed the heart. Her worldview was dominated by materialism. To Victoria, simplicity was synonymous with failure, something to be avoided at all costs. Her days were filled with endless lists of expensive desires and hollow social achievements. While her friends talked about real experiences, such as the joy of a family afternoon or the satisfaction of helping someone in need, Victoria was always chasing something she could buy, but it never filled the emptiness inside. In her mansion, every detail was meticulously designed to impress. Crystal chandeliers, Italian furniture, and paintings by renowned artists were, to her, declarations of success. But behind all of this was a restlessness she couldn't even name. After all, what was the point of so much luxury if the conversations with those around her were limited to solicited compliments and vested interests? Victoria believed her fortune gave her the right to feel superior. She saw humble people as mere pieces in a game, useful only for serving her. It was common to hear her say things like, "Those born for little don't understand the life I live." Her disdain for generosity was evident in small actions, like complaining about the change given by a delivery person or criticizing those who donated to social causes. Victoria's relationship with her employees was marked by distance. Anna, her housemaid, was just another one in the opulent setting of the house. She never stopped to ask about the woman's life or to thank her for her work. Yet, there was something curious in the air. While Victoria wore an arrogant smile, Anna, with her humble demeanor, seemed to carry an inner strength that many noticed, except for her employer. Despite being surrounded by everything money could buy, Victoria felt a growing discomfort. The grand parties began to lose their charm, and the smiles of her guests were as artificial as the imported decorations. But instead of looking inward, she sought even more extravagance. Perhaps, she thought, the next event would finally prove her superiority. It was in this context that Victoria planned her birthday party. The theme was pure luxury, and every detail was meticulously chosen to reinforce her status. But, for some reason, she decided to include Anna on the guest list. Not as a gesture of kindness, but as part of a cruel joke. After all, what better way to showcase her grandeur than by humiliating someone so simple in front of her friends? Little did Victoria know that this decision would become the turning point of her life. Anna was the complete opposite of Victoria in every way. While her employer proudly flaunted her wealth, Anna worked quietly, with the dignity of someone who understands the value of hard work. Her calloused hands told stories of struggle but also of pride. To her, simplicity was not a burden but a virtue that brought peace and meaning. Those who paid close attention could see in her eyes the wisdom that no amount of money could ever buy. Despite her hardships, Anna never complained. Her serene demeanor concealed the battles she faced daily, from caring for her children to navigating financial challenges. Instead of lamenting her circumstances, she turned small gestures into sources of strength. Like the day she prepared a meal for her struggling neighbor, even with the little she had. Her generosity was sincere, a reflection of the humble heart she carried. While Victoria worried about being admired, Anna found fulfillment in serving. Not because she felt inferior, but because she understood the greatness in simplicity. On one occasion, a guest of Victoria's commented on the impeccable organization of the house, and Anna simply smiled. She didn't seek recognition. The satisfaction of doing her work well was reward enough. What many didn't know was that Anna carried a secret. Despite her modest appearance, she possessed an uncommon inner strength. Life had taught her that true wealth lies in human relationships and the values we cultivate. That's why, even in the most challenging situations, Anna never lost her smile. Her humility, far from diminishing her, made her a giant in the eyes of those perceptive enough to see. The relationship between Anna and Victoria was a daily contrast. While one sought status, the other demonstrated that happiness couldn't be measured in currency. Anna never envied her employer's wealth, but also never allowed herself to be intimidated by it. There was a quiet firmness in her demeanor, as if she knew something Victoria had yet to learn. Perhaps it was this quiet confidence that unsettled Victoria, even if she didn't consciously realize it. Anna had a habit of planting small seeds of kindness wherever she went. A word of encouragement, a thoughtful gesture, or even a smile was enough to brighten someone's day. She believed that even in the simplest roles, one could make a difference. Had Victoria paid attention, she would have noticed that many employees respected Anna more than they did the mistress of the house. The invitation to Victoria's birthday party came as a surprise to Anna. She knew Victoria didn't see her as an equal and suspected ulterior motives behind the gesture. Yet, instead of declining, Anna decided to accept. Not out of vanity, but because she believed that sometimes life places us in unexpected situations for a greater purpose. Little did Victoria know that her attempt at humiliation was about to reveal a truth that would change everything. Victoria's birthday party was the most talked about event in town. The mansion was immaculate, decorated with an extravagance that perfectly mirrored its host's materialism. Among the invitations, one had been meticulously planned, Anna's. Victoria didn't just want to include her maid, she wanted to make her the target of a cruel joke. Every detail had been orchestrated with calculated malice. The plan was simple but devious. Victoria gave Anna an old, outdated dress, claiming it would be appropriate for the event. In a tone laced with fake kindness, she said, "You'll shine." The goal was to make Anna feel out of place among the sophisticated guests. To Victoria, it was the perfect joke, a reminder of the chasm that, in her mind, separated simplicity from grandeur. As the party began, Victoria couldn't hide her smile of satisfaction. Her friends, all equally obsessed with status, were already in on the show that was about to unfold. "Wait until you see her outfit," Victoria murmured with a sly laugh. Turning someone as humble as Anna into a subject of ridicule seemed, to her, like a touch of sophisticated humor. Little did she know, she was setting herself up for humiliation. Anna arrived promptly, as was her custom. The simple dress contrasted sharply with the luxurious attire of the other guests, yet it did nothing to dim her presence. There was something about her calm demeanor that disarmed critical glances. When the first laughs emerged, Anna remained unfazed. She moved through the grand hall as she did in life, with her head held high and her heart light. The tension in the room was palpable. While Victoria tried to draw attention to herself and her joke, some guests began to notice something peculiar about Anna. Her presence didn't fit the narrative of the humiliated pawn that Victoria had crafted. There was a serenity in her movements, a quiet strength in her words. Slowly but surely, curiosity began to overshadow prejudice. Amid the chatter, Anna became the focus of a few conversations. "You seem so confident, even here." "What's your secret?" asked one intrigued guest. Anna replied with a quiet smile, "Simplicity gives us something luxury never can, peace." Her words were spoken without pretense but landed like an arrow in many hearts, including Victoria's, who started to feel the weight of her choice. The night, intended as a stage for humiliation, was transforming into something entirely different. The glances cast at Anna were no longer judgmental but admiring. Victoria, however, clung to her veiled jabs, oblivious to the fact that the situation was slipping out of her control. What she didn't realize was that the most dramatic moment was yet to come, and her party would end up being remembered for an unexpected revelation. As the laughter faded and glances shifted, an unexpected conversation began circulating among the guests. One of them, an influential businesswoman, stared at Anna with a look of surprise. "You look so familiar." "It can't be you," she murmured. Before Anna could respond, others started gathering around, curious. The room, once filled with ostentation, was now enveloped in an air of mystery. Victoria, sensing the growing distraction, tried to regain control of the party. "Come on, everyone, we're here to celebrate," she said with a nervous laugh. But the guests were already engrossed in something far more captivating. someone mentioned the name Unknown Angel, a figure celebrated for remarkable acts of generosity in social projects, whose identity had never been revealed. Anna, calm as ever, remained silent, but the faint blush on her face said more than words could. Gradually, the pieces of the puzzle began falling into place. One of the guests recalled stories of a simple woman who had funded schools for the underprivileged and supported entire communities without ever seeking recognition. "It's you, isn't it?" asked the young lawyer directly. Anna took a deep breath, looked at him, and with a modest smile, replied, "I only do what I believe is right." The revelation was stunning. The humble maid whom Victoria had intended to humiliate was, in fact, the mastermind behind acts of generosity that most of the attendees could only dream of accomplishing. While Victoria stood frozen, the guests moved closer to Anna, not as superiors, but with genuine respect. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" asked the young woman. Anna responded calmly, "I don't do it to be seen, I do it to help. The impact is what matters." The stories began to pour out. Anna had quietly funded medical treatments, provided scholarships, and rebuilt homes destroyed by disasters. All of it done without fanfare or any expectation of recognition. One guest commented, "While so many spend fortunes to be noticed, you use what you have to change lives." The words hit Victoria like a thunderbolt, forcing her to confront the magnitude of her mistake. The evening, which had started as a display of extravagance, transformed into a stage for profound reflection. The guests began discussing values and what it truly meant to possess wealth. Anna, unintentionally, had become the centerpiece of a powerful lesson. And Victoria, who had planned the party to reaffirm her status, now faced an undeniable truth: true greatness lies not in what is flaunted, but in what is shared. As conversations continued, Victoria stood in silence, struggling to process what was unfolding. She felt small in the face of Anna's simplicity and the profound impact she had made. But instead of indignation, something began to shift within her. Perhaps, she thought, there was something more valuable than jewels and lavish parties. And as the party progressed, a new tension filled the room. Augusto, the most respected guest in attendance, was approaching Anna with something to say, something that would further alter the course of the night. Augusto was renowned for his wise demeanor and well-timed words. Respected by all, he was a businessman unimpressed by hollow displays of wealth. He approached Anna with an admiring look and said firmly, "So, it's you, the woman I've heard about for years as the Unknown Angel." The room fell silent. From a distance, Victoria watched, her heart racing. Something monumental was about to unfold. "Anna," Augusto continued, "what you do serves as a reminder of what truly matters in life, the impact we have on others." His words echoed through the hall, prompting exchanged glances among the guests. Someone, previously absorbed in the event's opulence, remarked, "It's incredible how someone so humble can transform so many lives." Each word was a blow to Victoria's ego, forcing her to confront the glaring contrast between herself and Anna. In an unexpected gesture, Augusto turned to address the guests. "We're all here, surrounded by wealth and status, but how many of us use it for something meaningful?" His question was neither accusatory nor hostile, but it struck a chord. Some lowered their heads, others exchanged uneasy looks. Even Victoria's usual confident laughter was replaced with a look of unease. The harsh, inescapable truth had been laid bare. The revelation of Anna as the Unknown Angel not only shifted the focus of the party but also challenged everyone present to reevaluate their own values. One guest, visibly moved, confessed, "I always thought wealth was synonymous with happiness, but now I see how wrong I was." Anna, with her characteristic serenity, replied, "True wealth is what you leave in the hearts of others." As the tension in the hall grew, Victoria finally stepped forward. For the first time, she seemed disarmed, vulnerable. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" she asked, her voice trembling. Anna looked at her with compassion and replied, "Because it wasn't about me. I've always believed that actions speak louder than words." A lump formed in Victoria's throat. Anna's words were like a mirror reflecting her own shortcomings. Anna's humility began inspiring many in the room to reassess their actions. One businessman turned to Augusto and said, "This is what we need in our circles, real examples, not ego contests." Victoria overheard this and felt a mix of shame and a burgeoning desire for change. The humiliation she had planned had morphed into an unforgettable lesson in humility and generosity. At the height of the moment, Anna did something unexpected. She turned to Victoria and thanked her for the invitation, saying, "If I'm here today, perhaps it's because we needed this moment." The simple statement carried profound weight. Victoria began to see that the party wasn't just a celebration of her birthday, but the start of something far greater. Sensing the transformative power of the moment, Augusto decided to offer the final words, setting the stage for the next lesson. Augusto, ever composed, called for everyone's attention. The room fell silent. We live in a world where we confuse success with appearances, but what Anna has shown us here today is that true wealth isn't measured in numbers, it's measured in the impact we leave on others. His words echoed like a call to reflection. Though he looked at Victoria, it felt as if he were addressing everyone. Are we truly investing in what matters? Drawing from his life experience, Augusto offered practical examples. A luxury car is impressive, but what legacy does it leave? On the other hand, funding a child's education transforms generations. He spoke with the conviction of someone who had witnessed many opportunities squandered in the pursuit of ostentation. Anna is living proof that solid values carry more weight than any mansion or jewel, he added, casting approving glances at the humble Maid. Victoria listened in silence, feeling the weight of every word. Augusto continued, "Generosity isn't just about giving, it's about understanding that our role in this world is to serve others." Turning to Anna, he praised her, "You represent what so many of us, with far more resources, should aspire to be." The room was so quiet that the guests' restrained breathing could be heard. Victoria sensed this moment was becoming an unforgettable lesson. Seizing the atmosphere, Augusto posed a challenge. How many of us have earned our status to promote something beyond ourselves? The impact was immediate. Guests exchanged uneasy glances, while some stood to applaud Anna. One young attendee, visibly inspired, remarked, "I need to rethink what I'm doing with my life." Victoria, still paralyzed, felt the profound significance of what was unfolding. This was no longer just a party, it was a collective transformation. Anna, visibly uncomfortable with the attention, tried to intervene. "I'm only doing what I believe everyone can do," she said modestly. But Augusto countered, "And that's precisely why you are so extraordinary, Anna. Because in today's world, choosing simplicity and humility is an act of defiance." He emphasized that true power lies not in being admired but in inspiring change. Victoria began to see something new, something aimed directly at her. "You have all the resources to make a difference, but you are using your power to impress, not to transform," Augusto said pointedly. The words hit like a direct blow, but a necessary one. He added, "The luxury you value so much is fleeting. What you build in others, that's what lasts forever." Victoria felt an emerging desire to change. Augusto concluded his speech with a call to action. "Everyone here has the privilege to do something meaningful, but few have the courage to start." Turning to Anna, he said, "You've already started, and that makes you a true leader." Then, looking back at Victoria, he added, "But it's not too late to change. What matters is the next step." The tension in the air now shifted to anticipation. Victoria knew the next move was hers. But what would she do? Victoria, overwhelmed by a mix of shame and inspiration, excused herself from the guests. For the first time, her proud demeanor gave way to genuine vulnerability. She approached Anna, her eyes glistening with tears, and said, "I don't know how you manage to be so strong, but I want to learn." Anna, with her characteristic serenity, replied, "The first step is to look within and see what truly matters." Victoria knew it was time to change. With all eyes on her, Victoria stepped into the center of the room. Her voice, once used for boasting, now carried a tone of humility. "Today, I realized that everything I've built was to impress others, not to create something meaningful," she admitted. The silence in the room testified to the impact of her words. I want to learn what it means to live with purpose, and I'm ready to start now. Augusto smiled slightly, like someone witnessing the beginning of an important journey. He placed a hand on Victoria's shoulder and said, acknowledging your mistakes is the first step toward true transformation. But remember, it's not just about words, it's actions that define who we are. Anna, standing nearby, added, and the best actions start with small gestures. Generosity and humility don't need an audience. In the heat of the moment, Victoria made an unexpected decision. With determination, she announced she would redirect part of her fortune to fund social projects, including one Anna had already started in an underserved community. The guests, initially stunned, broke into applause. Victoria wasn't seeking applause, but she understood this was a symbolic first step. I want to do more than donate, I want to truly get involved, she declared. Anna accepted Victoria's gesture, but with a condition. If you're going to help, it must come from the heart. There's no room for ego here. Victoria nodded, grasping the depth of Anna's words. The two began discussing practical ways to transform lives, from investing in education to creating real opportunities for those who had none. That moment marked the beginning of an unexpected partnership. As the guests dispersed, many left reflecting on their own lives. One of them, inspired by Victoria's transformation, remarked, if she can take such a big step, what's stopping me from starting something too? Overhearing this, Anna offered a gentle suggestion. Change begins when we stop asking why, and start acting with a why not. Victoria heard this and, for the first time, felt hope in her heart. The party, which had started as a spectacle of extravagance, ended as a symbol of transformation. Victoria, now aware of her responsibilities, began envisioning a different future. But more importantly, she understood she still had much to learn. With Anna by her side, she saw the strength of solid values, the simplicity that transforms, and the generosity that inspires. In that moment, Victoria finally realized her true journey was only just beginning. Now that you've heard this story, let me ask you a question. What are you doing with what you have? Maybe you don't have a fortune like Victoria's, but each of us has something to offer, whether it's our time, our talent, or even just a kind word. True wealth isn't about what we accumulate, but about the impact we leave on others. Have you thought about how you can transform the world around you? How about starting today? It could be helping a neighbor, volunteering for a social project, or simply being more generous in the little things. Remember, the biggest changes begin with small steps. And if this story inspired you, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss more content like this, filled with valuable lessons to help you grow as a person. Now tell me, what will your next step be? We're here to learn together.